So we are going to do a life purpose reading. The intent is that you have an understanding of like what you're called to do, what message you're here to share, what unique perspective you have. But we are going to look further into how to connect the dots, how exactly it is helpful, like what you're giving back to the world, just so that it makes sense. And of course, something came out before I even picked a pile. The Serpent, rebirth, unconventionality, non-conformity. But I did not say pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3 yet. So let's just put that back, and if it comes back, it's ours. Okay, we're doing shuffling for the piles right here on camera. Okay, so can we get pile 1? What is their life purpose? And for pile 1, we have faith. Pile 2, what is their life purpose? Okay. Sheesh. The Stand we have for pile 2. And for pile 3, can we get an oracle card to signify pile 3's life purpose? Pile 3. Pile 3. Wish you guys could see my cat right now. She looks really cute. She does this thing where she lays on her back as if she's in a coffin, but she has a very pleased look on her face. She holds her arms across her chest. It's very, very cute. Anyway, pile 3. Sometimes I wish I were in a coffin too. Pile 3. Pile 3's life purpose. Oh my God. Pile 3's life purpose. Sheesh. Okay, hold on. It's this one. Pile 3. Yeah. Okay. Prosperity in reverse. Now these cards are specifically meant to be shadow work cards, and like each one can be taken as like the shadow that's being brought up can be used for the better or for the worse. And that's often like a theme, a lesson, is that part of what you're working on, and in this case part of your purpose, can be used for harmful reasons and also for helpful reasons. So we're going to go more into when we get there. Go ahead and pick your pile, but like when we get to your reading, we're going to look more into the questions are, what is your unique message, how this message is helpful to the collective, and how you can best share this message. Okay, so go ahead and pick your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you picked faith, this is your reading about your life purpose. What it is that you came to bring to the collective, okay? Or what it is you came to learn, but usually it's going to be a little bit of both. You came to learn so you could spread the message a little bit or put that back into the world in some way. So your unique message. And then we've got Creator in reverse. So that is the Empress in reverse. That is for what is your unique perspective or message. How is this meant to help the collective? How is this meant to help the collective? How is this meant to help the collective? Hanged Man, or just Hanged in this deck. And then came out so quick, how are you going to share it? You got Judgment in reverse. So right off the bat, intuitively, what I am picking up on is that you probably do go through, like this Faith card tells me, along with all these other, that you have been tried. Your faith has been tested. You are meant to, you know, like if this Empress upright, it would be like everything, all of the queens, okay? So it would be like wisdom, nurturing, sharing, confidence, expression, all of the queens, because that's the Empress is like all of the queens put together, is what a lot of people say. But you know, you have it in reverse. So I'm thinking that part of your life purpose is kind of to struggle with trusting that things will come to you, trusting that things will work out. You have likely struggled with it, and there's probably an element to it where it's like building your own personal power. But it seems to me like there's a bigger element to it with this Hanged Man and this Judgment in reverse, that it is really so that you can learn to keep the faith, know that it's going to come. So that it's almost like, I don't want to say it's like learning to keep a positive attitude, because that's not realistic, and I don't really like that mentality. But it is like learning that you know exactly what you have to offer, or what you deserve, knowing exactly what you deserve and what you have to offer, and not questioning it, learning to not question it. So that's part of your life purpose. And the reason that that's part of your life purpose is because I have here how it's helpful to others, and we have Hanged Man, okay, which a lot of times can represent waiting, having to wait for something, hanging around waiting, right? I feel as though you have gone through trials and tribulations in regards to having to trust that what you deserve and what you have to offer is there, that it exists. It is, and what's the word I want to look for? It's like it exists regardless. It exists. It's not unconditional. The word I want to look for is it's like, it just is, okay? There's a word I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it. It's like, it just is. What you deserve and what you have to offer just is. And it's really just about keeping learning to trust and know, because it says hope, inspiration, rejuvenation, to just know that you know exactly what it is. And I went to go pull some oracles to clarify, and one popped out immediately. So we have the House. So this is funny because I was getting the idea that there's an element here of, it's like the Chinese finger hold things. The more you struggle, the harder it is to pull off. And this is very much validating that, because it talks about, well, it does talk about grounding and like building a foundation, but it also talks about desperately seeking answers when the answers are right in front of you. So there is this element for sure of your life purpose that has to do with, you feel like you're trying so hard and you just feel like nothing is happening, but it's like, you trying so hard is part of the reason that the things aren't happening, because part of the thing is you learning that you don't really have to. And this is such, like, it's annoying. I feel like this is a collective thing, because I've been seeing this message everywhere lately. So I feel like it's like very much a collective thing that's going on right now, but it is very much, and like, especially with this Empress in reverse is, you know, it's the embodiment of feminine energy, and feminine energy is receptive. So a big part of this message, I think, is that like, it's very likely that you are struggling, and part of the lesson and part of how you're going to learn to be like, you keeping the faith, part of the lesson is that the more you struggle, the harder it is, because that's a pushing energy. And it's time for you to realize that what you have is already, like, it's right in your own front yard. It is right, it's already there. And so you're like working on building the foundation that is you, already within you. Can we get anything else? If you like this so far and you're vibing, feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to comment any thoughts. Tell me that you can't stand me. I don't care. Just whatever, man. More about how this is helpful to others. Actually, I want to get more for both, especially this judgment card. But right now, more about how this is helpful to others. Okay. And then we have the Swan in reverse. And the first thing that came to my mind intuitively is that story about the ugly duckling, and the ugly duckling was actually a swan. So there's something here with also like part of the reason you feel you have to struggle so much is because you feel like very misunderstood. And it's like until you're fully grown, like when the ugly duckling was a duckling, they were just like, that's an ugly duckling. But then when the ugly duckling grew up and bloomed and was finished baking, everyone was like, oh, that's not a duckling at all. That's a swan. And swans are traditionally known to be way hotter than ducks. So the duck wasn't ugly at all. The duck was actually a hot swan. So it just was with the wrong people. So, or the wrong animals. But animals are people too, y'all. So I think the way that this is helping others is that by you learning to see what is within you, by you learning to like discover what your inherent value and your inherent worth, you will be able to kind of spread that to others. Like you will be able to be like, hey man, I know that it seems different, like it seems hard, you feel like you're misunderstood, you feel whatever, you'll be able to spread the same message to others. You'll be able to inspire people who think differently. You'll be able to inspire people to understand their inherent unique value. You'll be able to inspire others to be who they are and be strong in that, and know that that might take time. But at the end, like, it might take time for you to bloom. And with this house, it's like, it very much gives me building foundations. It very much gives me, like, you are, the reason, this is what I want to say. The reason that you have no faith is because you're comparing yourself to what reality is right now. But what you're doing, like, what you're creating is... only you hold that. And I know that I've known this for like a long time, and a lot of people have been talking about this for a long time, but we are stepping into an era where this like mainstream, curated, like trendy, whatever's hot, this like approach to reality that is everybody like stays in one, like most people have, what is it? It's like groupthink, the mainstream. It's like that type of thing is dying. That's going away. And what it's going to be replaced by is each of us have our own unique piece of the puzzle to share. And that doesn't mean there aren't like a lot of like-minded souls, but it means that, like, you know, if you're putting a puzzle together and it's a puzzle that has all these different animals, right? Each puzzle piece is going to be a different angle of a different animal. Like, say there's like 10 different animals in this puzzle. And some of the puzzle pieces are there's like 10 puzzle pieces that make up a bunny, okay? And those are people doing similar things from different angles in their own very unique perspective, their own very unique way. And then some of the puzzle pieces make up a cat, and they're doing similar things. They're like-minded community, but they're doing similar things in their own very unique way. That's the reality we're stepping into. And this very much gives me that, it's like, part of your thing is you're learning that you have to, like, it's the process of building the foundations of who you authentically are. And what I just wanted to say is, like, deprogramming this need to do, it's not just comparison, but to look for what is currently accepted as truth or as trendy or as mainstream, to deprogram looking for what is currently accepted and understood. That's what the building of the foundations is. And it's like, once you're done building those foundations, then you turn into a swan. And people are like, oh, that's not a weird looking duck. That's a hot swan. And what you're doing for others is you're doing, like, by you going on this journey. And there's like a significant portion, but it's like, it's gonna be small, but you know, there's 8 billion people on the planet. So it could be hundreds of thousands of people right now on this very same journey of figuring out who they authentically are, building those foundations, understanding that they have inherent worth, and they have understanding what they deserve and what they have to offer uniquely, and sharing that with the world around them. And they're building this up, and then they're going to come out into the world. This is what you have to offer. You're going to come out into the world as the swan, and you're going to know exactly, like, you will become the thing, you will be recognized, you will be contributing, people will see that, and you will be an example for other swans, for other people to follow. Because this feels like starting the, like, you're on the forefront of people who are actually following through with this message that has been talked about in the spiritual community for at least 5 years, probably more. As long as I can remember in the spiritual community, we've been talking about how we're going to an age of authenticity, and anything other than uniqueness and authenticity won't, like, it's going to go away, because we're moving into an age where everybody's uniqueness is an integral part of what's going on. That's a thing that has been talked about for years. But it feels like, you know, we've been talking about it, we've been prepping for it, but you are probably on the forefront of people who are actually doing it, like, who are actually putting that out and being like, here you go, this is who I am. And then you're like, once you've built those foundations up and you've deconditioned, you come out as the swan. You're like, here you go, here I am. People see that. You just accept what comes your way, like the Empress would. You accept, like, exactly what you have always known you deserve. And people see that, and that inspires people to do the same. And that seems like, so you're doing the thing, and then that's inspiring other people who are similar. And then I want to get one for how you're gonna do it. So we got Judgment in reverse. So it's like, it feels like you might have, this immediately popped out the tree. So the way that you are going to put this out into the world is that you are going to have people seeing your transformation. You're going to have people seeing you bloom. You're going to have people watching you build foundations, okay? So this entire reading to me gives quit trying, because the message, like, with the how are you going to put it out into the world, is very much you're just going to exist, and people are going to see you blooming. They're going to see you going through trials and tribulations. They're going to see you going, like, questioning yourself and learning, and they're going to watch you transform. And this is a never-ending process, right? But eventually you will have, like, a blooming period, but, like, people are going to watch you, and you will be the example. That's, like, how you put it out into the world, is just by existing, going through the shit, not giving a shit what anyone thinks, and eventually, like, people will be watching along with your journey, and that is, you're leading by example. That's what I want to say. Do we have any final advice for pile 1 on their life purpose? Whoa! Ace of Cups. Yeah, baby. The final advice is be receptive to the flow of abundance, first of all, and of the flow of energy, the flow that's coming in. Like, this is very much a receptive thing. The advice is like, be receptive to, obviously use your discernment. Don't just be receptive to anything, because there's some dum-dums in the world. But like, be receptive to what's coming your way, whether it be opportunities, but in this case, it would be, you know, more emotionally focused. So be receptive to positive emotions, because you are going to have them come your way. And you may have, like, if you've struggled with believing in yourself, then you might have a hard time being receptive to positive emotions. But like, the advice is just be willing to accept the flow of energy and the flow of emotion. And then we have a Page of Pentacles. Oh, look at her. She cute. That's all I'm saying. It's interesting because the way that, like, it's set up is, you know, the aces are you being offered something, and the pages are taking something. They're like taking an opportunity. So for the Page of Pentacles, that something would be more materially based. It would be some sort of material opportunity. The advice is you're going to be offered flow of positive emotions. Take the opportunity. It's interesting. The advice is like, I guess, just as you go through this transformation and you learn how to sit with yourself authentically, and you learn how to just know exactly what you deserve and have faith that things will come your way. Whatever's meant to come your way will come your way. It's like you're going to start having flow and positive emotion coming your way, and just accept it. And, you know, this is the Page of Pentacles. So again, it's probably going to come with opportunity. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I think that's all I have to say for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, Pile 1. Hello, Pile 2. If you picked the stand, welcome to your reading. So we're going to look into, first, what your unique perspective or message or whatever is that you have to share. Because this is about life purpose, but we're trying to get more clarity, because I think most people probably have some sort of inkling of what their passions are, what they're good at, what reoccurring themes are, all that kind of thing. But I'm really trying to connect the dots here. So we're going to do a tarot card for what your unique perspective or message is. One for how it's helpful to yourself and the world around you. And one for how you personally will share it with the world around you. And then we'll go further with oracle cards and stuff. If the lighting just changed, sorry, my light went out and I had to fix it. Anyway, so we have the stand as your, like, general, what is your life purpose, courage, determination, fearlessness. That tells me that there's probably something. Why are you coming out when I'm not even asking questions? Although that does go with the stand. That does go with the stand. Interesting. So this came out, but I didn't ask a question yet. So we're just going to leave it here. There might be something to do with your life purpose where you're learning assertiveness, okay? Where you're learning to not essentially back down, where you're learning to, because it's like, it's not to say that you're learning to be mean, it's to say that you're learning to not care what, if who you are bothers somebody. You're learning to essentially be who you are regardless of what that, like, what kind of conflict that might cause. And it's not, again, it's like not to say that, like, you're just going to start problems or anything like that, but it is to say that like, if you have to, you'll do what you have to stand your ground and express who you are. It's possible, if you're learning that, if that's part of your life purpose, it's possible that you are used to backing down and making yourself small so that you don't cause problems, so that you don't, like, get bad attention, so that you don't find yourself in conflict, and that like literally part of your life purpose is to kind of overcome that. Queen of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Yeah. I didn't ask the first question yet, pile 2. So we're just going to put these up here, and they're just bonus cards. That's what I'm thinking. 5 of Wands and Queen of Wands in, oh no, this would be King of Wands in reverse, because in this deck, the Queen of Wands has like most decks have a sunflower for the Queen of Wands, or tons of sunflowers. So this is King of Wands in reverse. Yeah. So I'm thinking that generally your life purpose has to do with being able to fearlessly express yourself and go for what you want. All right. So first question. What is the message? The perspective? Sheesh, 2 came out. We can't do all this. That's too much. Which one? This one. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Girl, did this just come out again? Shoot. Yeah. This was supposed to come out. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So, sorry about my cat playing with a toy. I'm not going to stop her because she's cute. Wow. So the way that I'm looking at this, with the King of Wands, the 5 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Fool, what's coming out is that, like, there also might be something where you feel as though you're in, like, competition, okay? And you have to fight for what you deserve. You have to fight for what you want. But the message here would be that you, rather than fighting, because the 5 of Wands talks, and you can see it in the cards, it's not just fighting for something. It is quite literally fighting for a position, fighting for your role. And, you know, with the 4 of Pentacles, the King of Wands in reverse, and the Fool, I'm thinking that part of what Spirit wants you to know is that you're not so much fighting for, and then with the Stand, you're not so much fighting for a role, you're not so much fighting for like a leadership role as you are like taking your own route. Okay? So it's like, it feels like you think it's a competition when it's not a competition. You're learning to completely take your own path. And it's possible that part of your challenge has been that you are trying, like I want to say you're comparing yourself to people who are already successful, or people who you feel like are doing similar things as you. They have a similar vibe. They are doing, you know, like you feel like you're in competition with them, but you're not in competition with them because you're not doing what they're doing. You're doing your own thing. Even if you're doing something similar, you're doing it in your own unique way. So they're not competition. You're completely going your own way. And it does feel like this is heavy on the advice already before I even ask the other 2 questions. But the fact that you got the 4 of Pentacles tells me that, yeah, you feel like there's not enough room for you. Like you are fighting for something and you think you're fighting against people and there's not enough room for you. And you feel like you have to fight your way into it, but that's not the case, because you're not fighting to be in competition with people. You're fighting to be who you are, unique, take your own route, do your own path. That's what I'm seeing in this right now. So let's go ahead and ask. That's a lot up front. I'm pretty sure I didn't say this yet. But if you are liking the vibe so far, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, you want to talk about how this relates to you, you want to tell me you can't stand me, I don't really care, whatever you want to tell me, go ahead and let me know below. Okay, so how is this helpful to the collective? How is this life lesson helpful to the collective? And we've got 10 of Pentacles. This feels similar to pile 1, kind of. So I don't know if you're one of those people that picks, like, I don't know. The way that I do it when I watch these is I literally, whichever ones call out to me, those are the ones I pick. If it's all 3 of them, it's all 3 of them. If it's none of them, it's none of them. And if it's 2 of them, it's 2 of them. Or if there's 5, you know, whatever, however many cards call out to me, that's how many I pick. So maybe you did pick pile 1, but this kind of reminds me a little bit of pile 1. So why it's helpful to others? 10 of Pentacles. It's helpful to others because by you taking your own path and succeeding by taking your own path, because you're going from the 4 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. So by you taking your own path and succeeding through taking your own path, learning that you can pull other people out of scarcity mindset, because this is very much scarcity mindset. Like, I feel like I have to pull some tricks so I can show why I'm worthy. Like, you feel like you're in competition and you have to prove your worthiness in order to get out of it. That's scarcity mindset. So by you pulling yourself out of scarcity mindset and into the 10 of Pentacles, other people, like, this gives, first of all, other people can see that and they can learn to do the same, but it also gives, maybe you can share your 10 of Pentacles. You can share your abundance, you can share your legacy, you can share whatever it is. Okay, that seems pretty freaking straightforward. So let's go ahead with, how are you going to share this message? How are you going to, like, how will you share this with the collective, this perspective with the collective? Ooh, how will you share this perspective with the collective? And we got Knight of, oh my god, this is my favorite card as somebody who is attracted to women, because I just think that girl is so hot. Anyway, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, how are you going to share this? There is something that has to do with you're gaining abundance so that you can share it, because this, you might have a goal of that, or like a dream of that, of getting out of scarcity mindset, literally, not just so that you can share the wisdom of how to, but literally so that you can share the abundance that you have gotten with others. Because Knights are always about taking care of other people or protecting other people in the way of their element. So the Knight of Pentacles has to do with, like, taking care of people materially. And if it weren't for the fact that you have scarcity, like you have 4 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles, you know, I would say that the Knight of Pentacles is probably often taken in more of a literally physically protecting people and taking care of people kind of way. But in this way, I would say that literally it could be helping people to get out of scarcity with physical resources. Like, you might be a person who's like into charity and stuff. I've done readings before recently that were very much people who were into like charitable type stuff and giving away resources. So maybe you've watched one of those, I don't know. But yeah, this is saying that the way you're going to share it is by literally taking care of others through the abundance you've gathered, through the resources you've gathered, through the, whatever it is that, like, this gives a lot of material taking care of yourself and others, really. But it feels like like that the advice here that came out so quickly before I even asked for advice, because that's what I always do at the end, is ask for advice. But the advice is like, by feeling like you have to compete with others, you're keeping yourself in the loop of scarcity. So you're learning how to go your own way, be your own person, get your 10 of Pentacles, and then in return, you're sharing that with others. Like, you're helping people with the same issues. And that could be through wisdom, and it could be physically sharing it, and it could be both. Okay. So do we have any advice for pile 2? Do we have any parting advice for pile 2? Do we have any parting advice for pile 2? Do we have parting advice for pile 2? Okay, here we go. The Library in Reverse. Intuitive hit that I just got. Literally, oh. Yeah, this is really just saying, it's really more validation and confirmation to not be looking to others. Don't look to others for wisdom. Don't look to others for advice on how to become successful. Don't look for others for advice on what to do in order to share whatever it is you're trying to share. Do not look for others to tell you what to do, because you're forging your own path. This tells me that it's a confirmation to me that, like, you know, the thing that I always think about, because I'm very chaotic and I hate, like, I don't hate learning from others. I like learning from others, but I hate this thing where we, like, worship, you know, like, scholars and stuff, because it's like, the scholars are just people like you and me who experienced things and wrote about it. So anybody could experience things and wrote about it, okay? And it's cool and it's necessary for some people to be really good at gathering that data and doing stuff with it, but not everybody needs to be good at that, because some people are the people writing, or not scholars. Like, there's writers and then there's scholars. Sorry, I said that kind of wrong. So scholars are people who, like, read a bunch of stuff, right? And they are experts at reading all the different things and telling you about all the different things they learned from the different stuff they read. Gathering the data and sharing it with people. They're experts at that. And then there's the people who wrote the books that the scholars read. And the people who wrote the books that the scholars read are just having experiences and writing about it. So it's like, you're the person who wrote the book or writes the book that the scholars read. You're not the person studying everyone else's information. You're not learning from other people. You are learning from your own experience. You're forging your own path. And that is all I have for you. I do want to say really quick, that doesn't mean you can't, like, take in new information. It just means that you shouldn't be basing your path, like, the new information can inspire you to have your own unique thoughts. It shouldn't be like you're taking it for, like, the way that I do it as somebody who doesn't enjoy being very scholarly. When I'm learning, I'm not looking for somebody to tell me their opinion and then me take on that opinion. I'm looking and I'm reading in between the lines and I'm coming to my own conclusions. So this isn't to say you can't ever, like, you should never learn new things, but it is to say that you should never let somebody else's idea of what's true, what's correct, get in your way. Okay? All right. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching Pile 2. See you later. Hello, Pile 3. I am very curious to see how prosperity in reverse is your life purpose. Don't worry, I don't think that it is that you're meant to be poor. But it could be that you have meant, because like I said, these cards are meant to show a shadow, and a shadow is not something that you need to get rid of necessarily. It's something that needs to be worked with. So it's meant to show, like, the helpful aspect of the shadow and the harmful aspect of the shadow. So it's possible that you have, like, part of your life purpose is overcoming, struggling with abundance. Okay, struggling with building wealth, struggling with getting money. Like you could have had a lot of financial struggle in your life. Okay, so we're going to ask, the first question is, what is your unique message? The second question is, how is it helpful to the collective? And the third question is, how are you going to share it? So first of all, what is your unique message? What is your unique message? What is your unique message? Ooh, this one wanted to pop right out. 10 of Wands. Yep, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. How is it helpful to the collective? Ace of Pentacles. And how are you going to share it? Like, how will you share this perspective? Ooh. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. That's fucking funny. Man, if I ever get enough people to monetize this, I am gonna have to bleep out a lot of swear words. There's vibes happening here, for sure. And it's so funny how, like, I have a specific plan and a structure always, and it never goes that specific way because it just goes with whatever the flow is, man. So what is your unique message? 10 of Wands. That tells me your unique message has something to do with you stressing yourself out or being given responsibility that you didn't. Hold on, this guy wants to pop his little head out. The Tigress. This came with the Tigress, and I was just going to put it back, but that seems pretty relevant, the Castle. Because over here we've got, yeah, I'm really thinking that, like, your purpose was to struggle so that you could learn how to come out of it, and so that you could basically show that life is composed of ups and downs. Yeah, and with the Tigress on top of the 10 of Wands, I get a sense that there is an element of not putting all of the pressure on yourself, on allowing connection, allowing, like, not being such a loner, you know what I mean? Because this is very much somebody who was given responsibility and is overburdened with it. And this card talks about a generous heart and compassion, okay? And this one talks about getting what you've worked for. But, like, it seems like what is your unique message? There is an element of your message that has to do with connection as well. But it is definitely related to working towards something, okay? Especially because in the Wands suit, the whole journey is basically just the Wands person fighting to be the boss. Like, that's kind of the whole thing. It's ups and downs of him just fighting to have the responsibility, or them just fighting to have the responsibility. When you look at the Wand suit as a journey, so there's like something here with you are working towards things, but don't put all of the burden on yourself. Don't be such a loner about it. Like, don't completely isolate yourself. And then there is with the how it's helpful for others. Ace of Crystals. Let's get another one, because clarifier for how it's helpful for others. Let's go. Okay, no, this just hit me, but we're still gonna get the clarifier. Because people are gonna see you're an example of how opportunities come and go. And then let's look at the Temple. How it's helpful to others is that you're an example of how opportunities come and go, and how like you shouldn't be clinging to specific opportunities, because it's like then we have the Wheel of Fortune over here. How are you going to show it? How are you going to show it? The Wheel of Fortune, it's like they come and go, and it's not like, oh, failure, but it is like the Wheel of Fortune is the force of nature of sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, you know? But it's like when things are down, it's not because you did something wrong. It's not because you deserve punishment. It's not because anything like that. It's just because things are being worked through. There's certain things that aren't meant for you, etc. So you are helping the collective, because like the way that your message helps the collective is because you are showing an example of how life is full of ups and downs, and it's okay. Things will you'll opportunities are endless. Things will still come your way, etc., etc. And that can be like with the mixing of elements here, because we have wands and pentacles. I want to say that it's like it's not just physical and financial. It is it's also just like, because then this card talks a little bit about confusion. So it's also like in your mentality. You're an example of, in your mentality and in your physicality, how life is composed of ups and downs. But the opportunities are always coming. The wheel is always turning. Can I get a clarifier for the Wheel of Fortune in reverse? How will you specifically be sharing it? I mean, this one seems so straightforward. It's because people are going to be seeing you're an example of opportunities are endless. Life is cyclical. You don't have to be afraid of the fact that, like, just because something isn't coming your way right now or it's not for you doesn't mean you're doomed. That type of thing. The Crown. See, and it's crazy because your freaking clarifying oracle cards are the Castle, the Temple, the Crown. Come on. Yeah, you are an example of, oh, wow. Because of the fact that we pulled the Crown with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse under how you will share this, it's crazy. It's because, like, you might very well be an example of, I keep wanting to say rags to riches, but I hate cliches. But it's not like, I swear to God, somebody's putting this in my head. Some of the spirit homies have dad language and cliches. It's fine. But you are an example of rags to riches. You are an example of somebody who struggled, who went through cyclical, like, ups and downs and all this other stuff. But then like, you have the Crown. Then you have your moment. Okay? Then you have your, like, you essentially sorted it all out. You figured it all out. Oh, and there's something here as well where with, like, what is your unique perspective? Like, yeah, you might feel a responsibility to get out of the mess so that you can share it with others as well. So what is your advice for what you're going through? What's your advice? What's your advice? That's a lot, dude. It freaking sucks to be poor. It really does. If you're actually, like, oh God, of course. Your advice is be patient. That's annoying. Nobody wants to hear that. Can we have something nicer? Like, I'm... Hey, if you dig the vibes, if you're into this sort of thing, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have anything you want to share with the class, you know, whether it's your experiences or you want to tell me you can't stand me or whatever it is, I don't really care what it is. Feel free to leave a comment down below. All right, so moving on. Can we get some useful advice other than be patient? Because that's honestly kind of rude. Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, your useful advice is deal with your confidence issues. Your practical advice is learn how to express yourself. And on top of that, stop clinging to the idea of getting out of it. Because I think you know that, like, I think on some level, you know that you, like, at least part of your life purpose, the part that's being addressed right now, is to overcome financial struggle. And, like, you know, this card talks about contentment as well, the prosperity card. So, like, and with the wands, it's not, I don't think it's just, I think it's your mentality and physical abundance, okay? So, and it's like with the cyclical thing over here, the advice here is that be patient, which is the most annoying advice ever, but at least they're being honest. And then also work on the way you, like, expressing yourself more authentically and not clinging to getting the thing that you want to get. Because I think, like I said, I think you know that you're meant to overcome this issue, but it's like the more you cling to it, the harder it is to authentically move through the world in the way that you are meant to move through the world. You know what I mean? So there might be like an air of desperation, which I'm familiar with. So don't take that like in a way that is bad, because you have the potential to be the Queen of Wands, okay? Which is hot and very easily self-expressive and confident and stuff like that. So you clearly have the potential to be that. It feels like the clinging to getting out of the bad luck mindset and out of the financial struggle, the clinging to it is actually affecting your confidence level and therefore the way that you express yourself and the way that you move through the world. Actually, it's interesting because, like, with the Hanged Man, with these three together, I just realized this because I was like, oh, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. The Hanged Man, Queen of Wands, and Four of Pentacles as advice actually works together really cool, because what it's like kind of saying, the more that you're stressed and focused on it, the less authentically you express. So if you just learn to chill out and be patient, you're going to turn this Queen of Wands upright and you're going to end up expressing yourself. So it's like the more patient you are, the less you care, the more authentically you express yourself and move through the world, and the closer you come to this, to this, to this, to this. You know what I mean? So, like, it's like the clinging that really makes you not be yourself and takes you further away from what you know you're, like, destined to have, which is, I don't want to say stability and security, but it is like stability and security, but it seems like you are learning to work with the cyclical nature of life as well. But yeah, you're meant to be in flow. You know what I mean? Not be in these like drastic cycles of up and down mentally and financially. So I hope that's about all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Pile 3, thank you so much for watching. See you later.